Hello and welcome to Todd Rolls Dice, where we're going to take a look at the filthy xenos factions, or some of the filthy xenos factions for Kill Team in the latest Errata 1.2 March 2025 balance update. It's not really a balance update, is it? There's a few balance things. There was some big changes to legionaries, but they're probably the only ones that got hit hard. It's not even debuffs or anything, it was just changes. So there are changes for every team that we're going to look here, but most of it is clarification, and a lot of it, as you'll expect, is things we've seen before. Bringing more rules in line with each other just to tweak the balance, and I think kind of just making the wording on everything very familiar if you're jumping about teams, or so you can understand the ploys. But in this one we're going to look at the older races, so we're going to start with Eldar, covering the Blades of Khaine, Corsair Voidscarred, Hand of the Archon, Mandrakes, and finishing up with the Void Dancer Troupe. Then we'll move on to the Necrons and cover the Heirotek Circle, and finish up with the Orks. We'll do Kommandos and then into Wrecka Krew. It'll be Wrecka Krew's first series of updates as well, so we'll see what they're doing for them. But how about we just jump straight in with the Blades of Khaine and see what changes have been made to the Aeldari Aspect Warriors. So we have one change, and it's a balance change. So this is to the Dire Avenger Exarch and Dire Avenger Warrior operatives. For their defense tactics rule, relevant part change to read: the operatives' weapons have the balanced weapon rule. But that's it for the Blades of Khaine. Nice way to start the day. Over on to the Corsair Voidscarred now. I do love these models. Let's have a look at the Aeldari pirates and see what changes we have. We have one change, first change to this team as well. So that was the Voidscarred. This is looking good so far, isn't it? How about we jump over to Hand of the Archon and see what's going on over there. So the Hand of the Archon, one change. Again, it's their first change. It is just a balance change. That's 3 down. It's going to be horrible for the Mandrakes, isn't it? Let's jump over and have a look. So the Mandrakes, the Eldritch horrors of 40k, they're so just gross. Such a cool design. I mean, even the models are nice, but that artwork, you would not want to meet one of these in a dark alley somewhere, would you? We have a couple of changes and a rules commentary. So the Dirgema operative Haunting Focus rule, the fourth sentence, wow, has been changed to read: the next time your opponent would activate an enemy operative that has your Haunting Focus token, if this operative is ready, you can activate this operative first. You cannot do so if you also rolled to prevent the operative's activation with the Night Fiend operative's Hallowed Whispers additional rule during this turning point. So it's clarifying that you can't boss an early activation with that operative while denying an activation with a different operative's ability. Okay, and I figure that the other change is just confirming that on the flip side. And the last sentence has been changed to read: after completing this operative's activation, your opponent activates that enemy operative if possible, i.e. it might already be dead, or activates a different enemy operative if they can't. What's the rule in full? So Haunting Focus in full, Strategic Gambit. Select one enemy operative until the ready step of the next strategy phase. It gains your Haunting Focus token. The next time your opponent would activate an enemy operative that has your Haunting Focus token, if this operative is ready, you can activate this operative first. You cannot do so if you also roll to prevent the operative's activation with the Night Fiend operative's Hallowed Whispers additional rule during this turning point. If you do, during that activation, this operative must fight against or shoot against that enemy operative and cannot do so against any other enemy operatives until it does. If it's not possible, this operative's activation is cancelled. After completing this operative's activation, your opponent activates that enemy operative if possible, or activates a different enemy operative if they can't. That's actually quite straightforward. It's like forcing a taunt on an operative that hopefully you're just going to go in and smack and kill. Yeah, okay. I mean, they're going to be a very shenanigan-y team, aren't they? Night Fiend operative, Hallowed Whispers rule. Can you guess what this change is going to be? Relevant part of the first sentence changed to read: you can roll 1d6. You cannot do so if you also interrupted that operative's activation with the Dirgema operative's Haunting Focus additional rule during this turning point. so they're stopping multiple ways of messing with enemy operative activations. Night Fiend is Hallowed Whispers in full. Whenever your opponent would activate an enemy operative within 6 inches of this operative, you can roll 1d6. You cannot do so if you also interrupted that opponent's activation with the Dirgemaw operative's Haunting Focus additional rule during this turning point. If the result is higher than the enemy operative's APL stat, they cannot activate during this activation. If there are no other enemy operatives eligible to be activated, this rule has no effect. That's gross. Once per turning point, within 6 inches of the operative, you can just stop somebody from activating, potentially. Oh, I don't like that at all. That's a very cool rule. Rules commentary, we'll do this one as well. So rules commentary for this update. How does the Soul Strike weapon rule interact with rules that allow your opponent to retain defense dice results of 5+ as a critical success, e.g. Angels of Death, Hardy Chapter Tactic, or retain results of a specific number as a success, e.g. the Elucidian Starstriders Armoured Bodysuit faction equipment? Answer: the Soul Strike weapon rule takes precedence. For example, even with the Hardy Chapter Tactic, a 5 would be a fail, not a critical success for that Angel of Death operative, as it's higher than their APL stat. So it's the Soul Strike rule. Soul Strike faction rule. Okay, Soul Strike in full then. Some weapons in this team's rules have the Soul Strike weapon rule ability. Below, Soul Strike. Successful defense dice are determined differently. Each result that's equal to or less than the opponent's APL stat is a success and is retained. Each result that's higher than the target's APL stat is a fail and is discarded. Each result of a 1 is always a critical success. Each other success is a normal success. Each result of a 6 is always a fail, so it's flipping the dice around. That's gross, especially on 2 APL teams. Although, I always roll low, so that's really good for me to play into. There is a designer's note. Many of this kill team's rules refer to an enemy operative's APL stat. That would be the APL stat at the time the rule takes effect, i.e. including changes. Well, that's even more gross. How are Mandrakes doing? Because they have some real shenanigans rules. I bet they're quite tough to play. Mandrake players, if you're watching this, how are you finding the game? Because they sound really fun and really like narratively mandrakey, but I read their rules and I just think, oh, I don't want to play that, that's horrible. Which is probably one of the good things about having Mandrakes. Their rules are very different to other teams, which is really nice. I'm going to have to read through all of these and try and get a better understanding of Mandrakes, I think. But that's the 2 changes and the rules commentary for Mandrakes. We'll jump over to the Void Dancer Troupe to round out our Space Elves. So the Void Dancer Troupe, I think they got a few changes last time round, didn't they? No, not really. But they do have one change for their faction rule, the Harlequin's Panoply. Relevant part of the second paragraph changed to read, whenever a friendly Void Dancer Troupe operative is climbing up, you can treat the vertical distance as 2 inches, and it carries on. Normally I would go through faction rules where they're changed, but we've gone over this with other teams. The whole climbing thing has been tweaked and changed to be 2 inches of vertical distance. It used to be 1 inch, so that is a buff for their faction rule, but it's just bringing them in line with all the other teams that have the ability to tweak, ignore, and change vertical distances. With climbing gear, we're going to see it a few more times in the next series of kill teams, I think, as well. I know Pathfinders do. We're probably going to see it with some of the squat teams as well. Again, just a straightforward change. Works out nice for them because it is a buff. It's effectively double the distance, but it's bringing all the rules into line with each other, which makes the game fairer, more understandable, and easier to figure out things. So that's good. We'll jump over to the Necrons now and have a look at the Heirotek Circle. So, Heirotek Circle, who did get some changes last time round, I've got some changes this time round. Okay, so update 1.1 for them. Hold on, this isn't new, is it? They haven't done any changes to... This must have happened with one of the other ones, because there's absolutely no changes here. They usually go in on the teams that have a 1.2 update or a new update this time round. you have Errata whatever, and then you have previous Erratas. We have no previous Erratas, and we've done all of this stuff before. Faction equipment, Tesla weaving. We talked about this last video. Okay, there's nothing here. If you watch my last video, you know what these changes are, but these changes have been around for a few weeks now. That's very annoying that they haven't gone in and just updated it to say previous errata changes and had everything in there. I suppose that would be too much work for them to do when they're trying to make a concise rules document with all of the changes easy to access. Nothing for the Heirotek Circle. A bit annoying that, really. But let's jump over to some fun mushrooms. We're going to have the Orks. Sorry, Kommandos. I got a bit excited. So the Kommandos, again, had changes last time, but I've just checked the other video and we've definitely talked about these before. So again, no changes for Kommandos. Keep doing what you're doing, Kommandos. You're doing Gork and Morks. Well, Gork? Which one's the sneaky one? Gork? Mork? You're doing both of their will. Final team of the video, you'll be pleased to hear. We got the Wrecka Krew. They're just cool models. Look at them. They're just happy boys with the bomb squigs and everything. Yeah, I love them. Love them. So, faction rules, Wrecka Rampage, second sentence of the paragraph changed to read, you can gain and spend Wrecka points during the same action and can do so in order of your choice, unless you started the action with 6, in which case you can only spend them. Let's do it that way. Wrecka Rampage in full. Whenever a friendly Wrecka Krew operative is shooting, fighting or retaliating in the roll attack dice step, for each attack dice result of 6 you retain, you gain 1 Wrecka point. You can spend up to 3 of your Wrecka points, unless it's a bomb squig, then you can't spend any. Or bomb squig. Stop singling out the bomb squig. For each point you spend this way, retain 1 of your fails as a normal success instead of discarding it. Quite nice. It's like a free command point. You cannot have more than 6 Wrecka points at once. You can gain and spend Wrecka points during the same action and can do so in an order of your choice, unless you started the action with 6, in which case you can only spend them. Quite a nice rule. So for every critical, it's not critical successes, is it? It's every 6. So every 6 you get a Wrecka point. If you roll 4 attacks, you get 2 6s and 2 2s. Let's say 2 hits, 2 misses, but the hits are 6s, and you already have 4 Wrecka points. You can add the 2 Wrecka points, so you would go up to 6, and then you can spend 2 Wrecka points, so you go back down to 4. You've got 2 free Wrecka points, and you've turned your misses into normal hits. You can't change them into crits or anything, it is just normal successes. So that's nice. That's a really nice rule for orcs who just get a bit excited, and you know, they're just swinging away and shooting away and making loud noises. And the Demolisher operative detonate weapon rule. Additional text added at the end. Damage from this weapon rule cannot be ignored or reduced. So Demolisher detonate in full. The first time you inflict damage on an enemy operative with this weapon profile during the battle, inflict d6 plus 6 damage on that enemy operative and each other operative within its control range if it's a normal success, or 2d6 plus 6 if it's a critical success. Roll separately for each. Then the action ends and you gain 1 Wrecka point, plus 1 for each operative that was incapacitated during that action. Damage from this weapon rule cannot be ignored or reduced. There's some Nurgle shenanigans that now reduce stuff. Other teams have damage reduction. That's a pretty good rule, but it is only the first time, so you can go Orc Smash, make a big boom. I'm surprised that the Orc operative doesn't take any damage. I thought that would be part of the fun. Although, I suppose it depends. So it's damage on that enemy operative and each other operative within its control range. Would the Demolisher be within the control range of the enemy operative? I think he would. Either way, I don't know how you'd play that. I'd play it that he does damage to himself as well, just because it's fun. But I'm thinking Orc and I'm not thinking tactically, and I'm certainly not thinking competitively. But that's us for changes for Wrecka Krew. Just simple, little, easy changes, more clarifications than anything else. And that's us done for this video. We'll be back with Xenos Part 2, which is going to cover the younger races. And let me know in the comments what these changes have made to your favourite kill team, if any, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.